Sometimes things happen when you don't expect it. Sometimes life is harder than we want it to be. Sometimes people are mean. But all the time, we love. This is us showing you love, Noah.
She said, you need to call her. Tonight there was a shooting on East Eastland.
There's yellow tape at the Cersei's house. What's going on?
It was Selena's brother. He committed suicide. Please, please, please pray for them tonight.
What about when you found out the gender?
You could barely tell, and then all of a sudden they show you, oh, there's his pee-pee. And then you're like, oh. And then that's when I found out that he was born with a club foot. And the day I had him was when the doctor came in and put a cast on him. The very day. But then as he got older, that's when he was like, rah, I'm fierce.
What do you mean by that?
Because when he wanted something, he would ask, I want my nails painted. Okay. And so at first I was just like, well, I'll just paint his nails, you know, clear. Because I didn't want people to see him with painted fingernails and say something about it.
How old do you think he was when he first asked you to paint his nails?
He was like 1.5, 2. And I was just doing the clear.
Obviously, I don't remember when Noah was born. I always say we're 4 years apart. He says we're 3 years and 4 months apart. We're gonna go with that on this video to pay him a little respect. The earliest memories I have of him were when we lived in Florida. He was about 1 or 2 when we lived there. I just remember me torturing him. We actually have a home video she shows where I put him in the laundry basket and I put him down like he's in jail, and then I sit on top of it. He's trying to get out, trying to get out.
We had 2nd grade class together at Benny Bill's in Miss Cook's classroom, and I remember he was actually my crush in 2nd grade.
He was a cute little kid.
He was so cute, and he was so nice. Like, I would always try and talk to him.
So when me and Noah were younger, we were really super close. Like, everybody thought we were brothers and sisters. We were so close. We would play freaking vampires and werewolves and just crawl on the couch.
I first met Noah was whenever him and Andrew were in elementary school. Andrew is my brother, and him and Noah were like best friends in elementary school. And I was in gymnastics at the time. So I like came home like my little leotard, and I walk in and I see Noah doing like cartwheel after cartwheel after cartwheel, and then he just lands into the split. And he's like, hey, I'm Noah. That was the first time I met Noah.
I wonder what you and drew them to be friends.
Like, they would both wear like basketball shorts that looked like jeans on them. Like, they were so long that they went all the way down to their ankles. And I think that they just saw each other and they were just like, that's my twin. Let me go make friends with them.
I think I met Noah when I was probably about 11 years old. And every time I would go over and hang out, like, her house was always so crazy.
I met Noah in 6th grade. He talked so much and he was just so loud and funny and like made everyone laugh, and I was just like, I need that. I like snagged a seat next to him. We just like clicked. It was weird. We stuck together a lot because we were really weird. We were kind of pushed aside.
The first memory I have of meeting Noah is also the funniest memory of meeting Noah, was at a middle school dance.
He was always dancing too. He would twerk all day, all night. Then somehow he learned how to do the worm backwards.
Oh my God, when I tell you, he had us all beat down pat.
And you know how they are, how everyone's like crowded up and there ends up being a dance circle. Well, all I remember is Noah got in the middle and started doing the worm, and I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So then I remember being like, oh wait, he's in my choir class. So we had chorus together my 8th grade year. I remember looking at Noah and being like, dang, I wish I had that confidence in middle school. Like, he was just so sure of himself and he was very sassy. I very remember the sass. But it was great, it was funny sass.
From what I remember, I think I met Noah when you invited me to your birthday party our freshman year.
First, I'm gonna start off by saying I love you, Noah, and I miss you so much and really wish you were here with us. But I met Selena freshman year, first month of high school. That means Noah would have been in 6th grade. Immediately, we were just like best friends. I remember in the early stages of me and Selena's friendship, I had spent the night here once and Noah had put on GTA. I stayed down there with him till like 6 in the morning. We played GTA all night and Selena was so mad at me because I stayed down there with him all night. We just talked and played. Like I remember when me and Selena first became friends, she would tell me, you just know all these like weird, interesting facts about stuff, right? But Noah knew the craziest stuff, especially about animals, obviously. You could ask him anything about any animal, not even just like what it was, but he would just tell you facts about it. Remember his favorite animal was the tapir, or is that how you said tapir? Tapir. And it was more than just animals too. Like he just knew just all these interesting facts, which I just always thought was so cool.
And I met him in 2017, but he was just always unapologetically and naturally himself. And then even when I would come over every now and then and me and him would just pick up where we left off. It could just be me and him hanging out too, like me and him were best friends. When you would be like doing your own thing. One night that he had put the balloon in his pants and he was acting like Nicki Minaj and he was like bouncing on the wall with the balloons in his pants.
Well, I met Noah. He was in general chorus, which is our unauditioned chorus. I know he'd done some singing in the past from a singing family. And,
something just clicked whenever I became a senior and he was a freshman. You know, we had a ride to school together every single day and we had a certain playlist that we would listen to on the ride there. We would have duet songs. So we loved singing Rewrite the Stars from Greatest Showman. Well, you know, like I would love singing it but he would do the boy part. So
he was shy. Sat right there, met early in the morning, which was not, I don't think, exactly kind to Noah. It wasn't the hours that he thrived. I saw progress, you know, in that freshman year, because I knew Selena for several years then and just knew how out there she
It'd probably been like whenever me and you became friends in high school that I'd actually seen him again. I just feel like whenever we would all hang out together and it was like you had a friend or something like that, I would always still be with Noah. Like it was always still like me and Noah and then you and your friend. Like, I do not remember where we were going, but I remember we were getting on 386 and that like Bad Baby song comes on. I was really like, oh my gosh, turn this up. And Noah was like, turn it up. And me and Noah were singing like every single lyric to that song. And I just remember that being like the time I was like, all right, he's cool. He's cool.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I met Noah my junior year. First time I talked to him, we were walking up the stairs in school and he had on these like checkered Vans with flames on them. And I knew he was Selena's little brother, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to him. And I was like, oh Noah, I like your shoes. And he had just like a bad bougie attitude and was like, thanks. And he's like, who are you talking to? I guess. I don't know, but that was the first time we talked to each other. He always had a bad and bougie attitude. And he was hilarious. He was so funny.
I remember thinking that night we came over to play cards, I was like, dang, I wish he would be this funny at school because he was genuinely a funny person. Like he did not care what you said. Like he would tell you straight up, and I loved that because it was like a blunt, but it was funny.
we would do talent shows, you guys. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve. We had a talent show.
And one Christmas we went over there, or it might have been a New Year, and y'all always had those talent shows, right? It was like Noah's turn. I'm like, ooh, what's he about to do? What is he about to do? He starts doing the splits, and I'm like...
He didn't win, but he should have. How did you know him?
I met him through you.
And when did you meet him?
Sometime 2019. He always said what was on his mind, and he was very funny. I don't remember a time when I was around him that I wasn't laughing. And then he was really smart. If I wasn't laughing, he was telling me something serious.
He would always tell Selena that she wasn't basic, or like that's what he liked about her, is like she wasn't basic, but like he was, yeah, anything but basic. Like he was a real genuine person, spoke his mind.
It was important for me to integrate him into my friends because I knew he never had friends come around here and he never went and hung out with friends. So I wanted him to go out and do things and have fun. But more than that, even to know he was out of the house with people, that's all I wanted. That completed my heart as a sister and as his friend.
He always like seemed like standoffish at first, but then like it didn't take much and he was like hanging out with us and having a blast, you know?
One day we were like doing a challenge who could have their middle finger up the longest, and there was one point where like me and Selena took a picture in the mirror with my middle finger up. We just kept going. It must have been over 30 minutes for sure.
We were both like very quiet kids when we were by ourselves. When we got together, we were super loud and people were like, what? They speak, they make noise. Come out of like his fourth block just like in tears. They were either calling him a faggot or saying faggot. He would like explain why they shouldn't be saying that, like as he was yelling at them, because you know how he does. He always like tells you like why you shouldn't do something.
Back when he was like in middle school, he would tell me about people there. You just want better for somebody so bad, but they're in that situation. Well, there's nothing you can do.
You had gone to see some friend and we were sitting in the car and he was just talking. I didn't say one word the entire time. It was like 15 minutes. Yeah, and he was just talking about him being bullied and stuff in elementary school. I didn't know what to say, but when I look back, I wish I did say something, because I feel like now if we were to have that conversation now, I would have said something.
There was one time where he started choking that night, remember?
I had a bunch of friends over and he was eating a Snickers bar, and all of a sudden Noah is quiet. You can tell that he's kind of choking a little bit.
He was just like trying to like catch his breath, and it was like scary, so then he started like to cry. And I remember like you went up to him and hugged him,
and I'm like, what's wrong, what's wrong? He was crying because he was so scared because he thought he was about to die from choking on the Snickers.
I remember just after that he was like thinking he was allergic to Snickers.
I could see glimpses of the sense of humor with Noah, but it was so much different than Selena. How do I say it? Like snarky-ish, you know? I actually got to know him a little bit better from, he did part of the crew for a summer show, which begrudgingly, you know, he did. Like, here's your t-shirt, you know? It's like, but he wore it and put a smile on his face. As the week went on, I think he really had a good time. I was up in the booth with him and stuff, and so he got to see the side of me that is up there going, oh, what are they doing up there? And I know he got a kick out of that.
There was another time we'd all went to Walmart, and I know that me and Noah were in the back seat. We had gotten like juice boxes. It was just like grocery stuff for your house. Don't remember what Noah had picked up. I wanted to say it was like beef jerky or something. I asked him for a piece. He was like, okay, but only one. So he gave me a piece, and I just kept asking for more pieces and more pieces and more pieces. And after I had asked for like the last piece or whatever, he was like, it's gone, fatty, you ate it all. He was like, so much for saving it.
I obviously knew he was going through stuff. When you're in that dark place, when you've been through what he had been through, you can't take back that horror, you can't take back the bullying, you can't take back his trauma. So there's nothing you can say.
But I remember one night we were in that kitchen and he was crying. I remember we were vlogging that night. I remember what he was wearing.
And I remember he was telling us about how he was so scared and he was crying a lot and how he felt trapped in his mind, couldn't get out of it. He doesn't understand it.
One time I ever saw him cry.
I remember that night just thinking to myself, I just really needed to make it my job to help him see the good things in life, and hopefully that would be enough to help him with all the bad things that he was going through.
When we actually became friends was the summer of 2020. There was like a base group and then like stragglers every once in a while, but like it always came down to like me, you, and Noah, and Casey.
During the summer before he passed away, the group that we would hang out with, I just remember me and him like always being together, because you were always talking to everybody, and me and him were like, we don't know a lot of people. I remember Werewolf. We did that like every night.
Well, first thing that I think of when I think of like a memory of Noah is always when we used to play Werewolf at the tennis court. If someone was lying, Noah was gonna know.
We all went to the tennis courts and we played some game. I wasn't that close with any of the people there. I went to school with like all those people, but the person that I felt like the closest with and that made me feel like I belonged there was Noah.
Whenever I was with Noah, like I saw my brother. So it was just like making fun of my brother.
But I'm not gonna say we never got in a fight, because we definitely did.
It was nothing.
No, I wasn't. I was not saying that. I was not. But like throughout all the course of me and Selena being friends, he became my brother too. So siblings fight, and we fought a lot play fighting, but there was some real fights in there. And sometimes I could fight him. Like sometimes I would like push him down and stuff. Rarely. He always beat me up. But we had these boxes and he just rams into me.
It was always really funny because Selena and Noah would like be fighting with each other, like verbally, or they would be literally like fighting. I remember Noah would always pull Selena's hair and Selena would like scream for me and be like, "Lily, help me," and I would just laugh because it was just so funny. So we were all sitting outside talking about the JonBenet story, and it was kind of scary though, honestly, and we're all under this big blanket, so we're like entangled. Then we hear bang, gunshot explosion, I don't know. Everybody like eyes got like this big. We were looking at each other like, what do we do next?
And then we hear another one like right after, and then we're all running inside.
Someone falls. I'm trying to get him up, and it's like a whole thing. It's literally like out of a horror movie.
I think he did beat me to the front door because we were so scared.
We get into Selena's living room, and we're all like trying to stay under the window line. We're all like trying to catch our breaths, and then here comes Noah. If I could run faster than you, I was gonna be fine. That's all I knew. I had to be faster than you. And when I saw him fall, I was like, oh hell yeah, they go for him, not me.
I don't remember how it happened. Somehow Trump was brought up. And then Noah was like, like he couldn't believe that I liked Trump. But then he was like, we can still be friends, even though we have different beliefs.
I don't know, I miss all those times just being down on the couch and laughing, or begging him to come out of the room. Noah, come watch a show with us, Noah. Or begging him to come out of the bathroom. Especially when it was you, Noah, me, and your mom all out there watching something. Those are the best times. Like, we were just very similar, and we could just talk and talk and talk for hours.
The night before his first day of school, he had asked me to send him pictures of me and him. He printed them out on his printer and he stuck them in the front of his binder, like all these pictures of me and him.
I didn't know he was actually coming to high school until he walked through the door. Then Mr. M was like, Noah's back with us, and I was like, yay.
And then we get to the light that's right before the school, and I realize, oh my gosh, I never took a first day of school picture. So I'm like, get out the car, it's a red light. So he gets out the car, taking the pictures of him, then he runs back in.
So he came that first day back. I decided that we're just gonna go outside and sing. I passed out a song.
We sang Light of a Clear Blue.
Light of a Clear Blue Morning. I wanted to start with something that was meaningful for everybody. It's been a long, dark night, and I've been waiting for the morning. It's been a long, hard fight, but I see a brand new day a-dawning. I've been looking for the sunshine. You know I ain't seen it in so long, but everything's gonna work out just fine, and everything's gonna be all right. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a brand new day, and he sang that song that day. I do remember like hoping that maybe those words kind of rang true with him too. I can imagine how hard that day was for him.
When we went back, we obviously were like ready for lunch, and then I remember being like, hey, Noah, you wanna come sit with us? And they was like, no. And I was like, all right, Noah. I was like, be that way. Went over and, you know, just talked to him for a couple of minutes, asking how things were going, and, you know, he was saying pretty good.
All day when he was at school, I was so nervous all day, and I just wanted to know if he was okay and if he was having a good time. When he got back home from school, we were just in the house all day. It was just a really good night.
He died, Selena told me about him saying like, oh, like we could do our nails together. Every time I do my nails, I think about him. I don't know, I thought it was sweet that he said that to Selena. I really wish we got to do that together.
He loved your mom so much. I mean, everybody loves their mom, but they had a special connection, you know.
He put on some old vines from this girl that he used to follow, and we were just laughing, but the main one that made us laugh so hard was the dog that had this little bitty head with such a huge body, and we were like, that's not real. And you know, the crazy thing about that vine is that a few days before we lost him, he sent that to me. And I honestly didn't even think. I was just thinking that maybe he was refreshing our memory of that moment. Well, now I'm thinking that he was just letting me know, hey,
we had good times.
Yeah.
That's a really special thing, Mama. I never knew that. That's really special.
Because I think that was when him and I really, really laughed the most. Not that we didn't laugh like that all the time.
The next day at 4 o'clock, my mom was getting off, so I went to go pick her up, and I get back back and I go in another room that was empty at the time and I'm singing, and it reminded me, oh, I wonder if he wrote his song. So I go to his room. The first thing I always did when I went to his room was wiggle his doorknob just to get on his nerves, like an extra noise, okay? Because his door was always locked when he was in it. And so when I went to wiggle his doorknob, it was loose. So my immediate thought was that he wasn't in his room. But I still opened the door because I'm nosy and I always want to know what's going on in his room. I open up the door and I go inside, and long story short, I saw him.
I got a call from Selena. She was just hysterically crying and she was like, he's dead. My brother's dead, he's dead. I didn't ask any questions. I was just like, I will be there in a few minutes.
When I found out, it was like 6 o'clock. And I had literally just texted my boyfriend goodnight, put my phone on the charger, and I like rolled over. And immediately, that's when I got the call from you. It was silence at first, and it wasn't Selena's voice, it was Lily's voice on the phone. And I remember exactly what she said. Like, I remember word for word. She said, Noah's not with us anymore. I couldn't process like what she was trying to say. I was like, where is he? She's like, he's gone. I just heard Selena like in the background crying, and it just didn't make any sense. I was like, is this real? You almost feel like you're dreaming.
My phone literally just fell out of my hands and I dropped to my knees and everything froze.
I got a call from Dr. Becker, and he said that I had lost one of my students. It was Noah, and I just wept like a baby. And then I immediately just said, I just talked to him. Getting off the phone with Dr. Becker, and then I gotta call Selena. I gotta call her just to say I love you and I'm sorry.
Like, you start thinking like, how long ago was that? Like, how long has it been since I've actually seen him? And that's just like everything that was going through my head. And I was just like in a moment of shock at the time.
I felt bad almost for feeling upset because I was like, I didn't really know him that much. Like, I don't want to be that girl who was like, yeah, we were best friends, you know. But I mean, I've known him since elementary school, and I was just like, wow, this is awful.
Oh, I was at my house and I was texting with her, me and Ivy in a group message, and she was talking about something else that's sad, and then she said, and Selena, and I was like, what about Selena? And then she told me, and I literally, like, my jaw dropped. I've never cried that way before. Even sometimes I just still can't believe it's real, you know?
We were debating coming by, but we didn't because I didn't know what was happening here or not. And then that's when I went home and I was like bawling my eyes out because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it's just unreal.
So Lily texted me and said, hey Taylor, I'm texting you for Selena because she asked me to because she's struggling. I honestly don't even know how to tell you or if you know this, but Noah committed suicide in his room. She said this is already so hard. We really need to be there for her.
I wouldn't have wanted it to be anyone else. To me, I would still do that every day. I would still find him. I would still take care of him because that's your sibling. That's your person for life. So I don't care at the end of the day what I have to deal with, because I would still rather find him so I can take care of him, because that's all I wanted to do. We all went to my aunt's that night and I never slept. It was like way over 24 hours that I didn't sleep because I couldn't sleep.
That night, just, I can't even say that I felt like I was real that night. It didn't feel like life was real. And then it's like, also I'm seeing you and your entire family, it's like my family, in complete suffering. It just like didn't make any sense, and it still doesn't.
Selena was having a really hard time, like just even sleeping in her own house, and just there would be nights I would wake up in the middle of the night and she would just be crying. I just thought about it a lot and what that moment would have been like for her.
But I remember that when the sun rose, I was driving and I was looking at the sunrise, and I was just talking to him and telling him, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, but it's hurting me, but I'm not mad at you because I know you will never do that to me to hurt me because you loved me. So you were in a bad spot if you knew that you were gonna have to hurt the person you love so much so that you would be okay. That's a dark place you have to be in. And I know that. I know we love each other so much. We will never try and hurt each other unless we had to. And he just had to.
And you know it has to be pretty dark if your rock, your sister, didn't even fully grasp it. Even your best friend can't really understand how bad it is.
Other than that, people would just ask me how you were doing or how you and your parents were doing. What was I supposed to say? Like, they're having a hard time, obviously.
And the next day, everybody was posting. Everybody on Instagram, on Snapchat, Instagram stories. everything. It was everywhere.
The reason that we had even started talking about making the GoFundMe is because it was only either the next day or the 2 days later, and your dad already had to go back to work. Nobody wants to work in that time. Nobody wants to think about anything but each other. I set the goal, I think, for like maybe 1,000, and it reached over 10,000. Like the support from everybody in Gallatin and other places was insane.
He was just my best friend's little brother. But I think people like that you take for granted. But that's how like you and your whole family are. Like you just show love to everybody and you don't care where they came from.
I don't know, just being able to be yourself around somebody and you know they're not judging you because they're crazy too, you know? Like,
him making everyone smile now is exactly how he was. You know, like he's still the same, makes people giggle and laugh, and he was like my little brother.
Why would you be rude to someone who's so like bubbly and confident, seemed happy all the time? Like why would you say something mean to shut someone like that down so easily? I think that he also brought a lot of people together because of how many like lives that he touched. Like he is not someone that you would just easily forget.
The ceremony, talking about how many people we thought were gonna come. And I think I said like 30. I don't think that anybody expected as many people to come as they did. Everybody was there. The bubbles, you practice that song like every day. Everybody's shirts with their picture. Oh, it was great.
Be with your family and love on your family. And don't ever let your family question whether you love them or if you'll be there for them. Because the world is just ugly. And it keeps getting uglier, it seems like. And I think what kept Noah alive for longer than he was his family. Was the joy that we brought him and the joy that he got from bringing joy to us.
Part of this journey of losing Noah, it's been really hard for me. I never really thought I would be so strong. I didn't think I had that in me, but I do.
He always like wanted to feel cuter than everybody else, and he was. I'll always carry him with me.
And I love all the memories we have together. I will always forever cherish that.
All we can literally do is now to never treat somebody like that again, and to always make sure somebody has a friend and be there for anybody. Say we should have done more, which we should have. But now you can do more. Like now you can. Now you don't have to sit back and be like, well, I should have done more then. So do more now, do more for people, be better to people because you do not know what somebody's going through.
I'm still holding on to everything that's dead and gone. I don't wanna say goodbye, cause this one means forever.